relative to your chart, you want to understand that this Rahu and Ketu, particularly that Rahu end, is subtractive and it's taking you back to the previous energetic field. As we have been challenged to let go of the Pisces area of life and whatever house that was for you, now Rahu going through Aquarius, which is the previous aspect of life and the thing that feeds the next area, it's a time for you to now focus on that.
Please like the video. Clicking helps a lot more than it pushes the video higher in relevant video searches. Also, please leave a nice comment. Comments also help more than you know as it raises the video in searches. Many times with hundreds of likes, there are only a dozen comments and they can be disproportionately negative. So be positive. Let me know if you like this. Even just a few words really helps. So subscribe, ring the bell to get notified of upcoming videos.
So there's a few things that I wanted to also talk about here that I haven't really mentioned before. And Solomon says, thanks again, Sam, you're welcome. And it's also this concept of Rahu and Ketu. Particularly, we focus on Rahu as it's the obsessive emerging cycle of karma. That's why even on this graphic, I'm focusing more on the Rahu and Aquarius because that's where we're obsessing over something, and Ketu is like withdrawing from the opposite thing. Rahu just went through Pisces, where we were obsessed on that letting go, surrender, that feeling of loss and surrender and letting go, but also escapism, fantasy, like not wanting to face the things that we can't control on this earth. So we've had to let go of certain things with that Rahu in Pisces. That's been the obsessive part of the last year and a half. Whereas Ketu was turning away from the Virgo part, not paying attention to all the details. Rahu was obsessing over the kind of fantasy illusion. So this is how Rahu and Ketu move, particularly on the collective level. But the other thing, and when I get into talking about it relative to your chart, you want to understand that Rahu is subtractive and it's taking you back to the previous energetic field. So what I mean to say is whatever house that sign of Pisces was for you, you've had to let go of a certain aspect of life. Like for me, the Pisces was in the 10th house, right? So when Rahu went through Pisces, it showed me a certain aspect of life that was dissolving and leaving and letting go, that I had to surrender it and let go of it, and it wasn't coming back, and it's over. A certain aspect of life. This was ubiquitous for Gemini people in general, a certain new relationship with power, reputation, status, career, when Rahu went through Pisces, okay? That's the 10th house. But what precedes the 10th house? The 9th house. That's where Rahu is going now. So this is something to keep in mind. We often have a hard time letting go of something. So if you have a hard time letting, or as we have been challenged to let go of the Pisces area of life and whatever house that was for you, now Rahu going through Aquarius, which is the previous aspect of life and the thing that feeds the next area, it's a time for you to now focus on that. So to be more specific, like I was just talking about, Gemini had to let go of the 10th house area of life with Rahu going through there. But what's before the 10th house area is the 9th house, which is teachings, a sense of inspiration and purpose. So Rahu now going through that house is a recalibration of the thing that came before the career, reputation, status, and that's the sense of purpose and inspiration and a sense of meaning. Because we want that sense of meaning in the ninth house to impact the world and be the basis of our career and work in the 10th house. That's just the example of how a Gemini person, for example, would experience it. If you're, for example, like a Leo person, right? Rahu is just going through the 8th house, so you need to let go of the things you can't control and the things that, particularly as it relates to other people, your vulnerabilities and the things you can't control relative to others. Okay, what's before the 8th house? The 7th house, and that's the others and the illusion of certainty that comes with all the people in your life that, oh yes, these people are part of my life. Are they really? They're all going to die, and they're also a source of insecurity, vulnerability, and it's a reflection back on me, and et cetera, et cetera. So the thing I want you to ponder at the beginning as well, because there's a lot of people who have studied astrology and I know this about astrology, and we have these ideas because we've heard these things for a long time. We know what these houses are, we know what these signs are, but many times most people haven't pondered these things very deeply. By the way, this aspect of Rahu and Ketu I've never heard anyone talk about. I've known it for decades. I haven't really spoken about it so intentionally like I'm going to do now. I have a lot of bullets in the gun that I haven't fired before. And this is an important one where the thing to understand is Rahu and Ketu are always unwinding our karma. Everything else is moving forward. Their natural motion, the other planets, are forward, and the natural motion of the nodes is backwards. So what does that really mean? This is what it means. It's where we are naturally unwinding karma, particularly relative to the transits, because where they were in your natal chart when you were born, that's just where they are. In the natal chart is a static indicator. It shows the karma that you incarnated with. It's not, none of the planets are moving in the natal chart. That's where they were fixed. They're moving in the sky. The dashas are also moving. But so the thing to understand about the nodal axis by transit, and again, particularly the Rahu end of the node, is it's how your karma is unwinding in real time. So again, as Rahu has just gone through the sign of Pisces, we've all been experiencing this need to let go of a certain aspect of life that's not coming back anymore relative to whatever your rising sign is, whatever your ascendant is. That aspect of life has changed. And now Rahu has gone into the previous sign, not the next sign. Other planets move into the next sign, like Jupiter just moved into Gemini and it was in Taurus. So it's the next sign. Saturn moved into the next sign, which is Saturn was in Aquarius. Now he's in Pisces, the next sign, the next house. So again, when I do this reading, this dissolving, this where things are moving, when I look at Saturn in Pisces, I would look at before relative to your chart, he was in Aquarius, which again, let's say if it's a Scorpio, that would be your 4th house. That's where Saturn had been. Now he's in your 5th house. Jupiter, if you're a Scorpio, Saturn had been in your 7th house. Now it's in your 8th house, the next one. But if it's Rahu and Ketu, Rahu had been in your 5th house. Now it's in your 4th house. It's in the earlier one. So it's unwinding your karma, and it's bringing a potential for you to visit the thing that is the basis of whatever it is that you've been confused about for the last year and a half. The last year and a half, you've been confused about your work or your relationships or your this or that, with Rahu going through that area of life saying, okay, I need to let go of this thing, but what is it really? And we're confused around that thing. Now Rahu goes into the house before it, which is the basis of the next house. So this is also a very fundamental principle that I teach in my certification courses, and I teach relative to houses, And again, this isn't really talked about or understood well enough by any means. One of the houses and even the signs, they're not static, right? The fifth house, for example, isn't just sitting there as a monolith. The fifth house is the ending point of the fourth house and the beginning point of the sixth house. It exists between two different areas of life.